Oh, are we recording? Okay. In this day and age, we might think that being healthy is as easy as eating the right foods and exercising, and you just have to do it. But I'm hoping that this video is able to open your mind a little bit to how there are so many other aspects of our health that actually can influence the food choices that we make and how often we exercise. By the way, my name is Kritika and I'm a registered dietitian, and I make videos all about nutrition, health, and wellness to spread accurate information because there's so much misinformation out there, and I'm hoping to be a source of credible information for you. And just a quick disclaimer that while I am a dietitian, I'm not your dietitian, so please don't use anything in this video or any of my videos for that matter as a substitute for medical advice. Please see a health professional for your unique needs. So I made up this little diagram. I'm hoping it makes sense, but it's about how our stress and anxiety and mental health can influence our food choices. And the food choices that we make, we have certain thoughts about those food choices and the language that we use around food, which then ultimately does influence our mental health again. And what happens when we are stressed out and when we're having anxiety? That is directly related to how our body processes food and nutrients, because when we're stressed out, our body kind of goes into this fight or flight response. And that's whether the stress is real, like a tiger chasing us, or in our head, like you being stressed out about the past or the future, because it doesn't know the difference between the stress that you experience from being chased by a tiger versus the stress that you're experiencing from this pandemic, for example. Your body's digestive system is kind of put on hold. And whenever we try to consume food while we are in this stress state, our body's digestive system is not going to do a very great job of digesting. And this is one reason why, if you're experiencing any digestive issues, you want to really deal with any stress that may be occurring in your life. And that's also why I created this series on mindful eating, because mindful eating is a way to deal with stress. Your cortisol, which is a hormone that is known for its stress response and it's known to hold on to belly fat, that rises, and your ability to metabolize nutrients is impaired. And then maybe some of you might also relate to when you're stressed out, you might crave certain foods. Maybe you might crave crunchy foods when you're stressed out because the act of crunching on food kind of relieves your stress and anxiety. Or maybe you're the type of person who doesn't have an appetite at all when you're stressed out. And I did go into how to deal with that and how to deal with food cravings in another video, so I'm not going to discuss it in this video. But let me know in the comments below if you yourself are a stress eater or you tend to not eat when you're stressed. Then there's this whole other side about how food can cause stress. And this is really unfortunate whenever I see people being stressed out about their food choices. Whether you're stressed out because you feel like you're really depriving yourself and you need to avoid donuts, or you need to avoid carbs, or you need to avoid, I don't know, what are people avoiding these days? That can be a cause of stress. Or maybe you give in and you eat a donut and that makes you feel stressed out. All of this stress that's related to food, again, is going to increase our cortisol, impair our body's ability to metabolize nutrients. And I think the problem is that a lot of times we don't even know that this is happening. We don't know that there's this stress response in our body. Maybe because of the language that we use around food, like we say, this is a guilty temptation. I shouldn't be eating that. This is a bad food. And then we kind of judge ourselves because of our food choices. And if you're feeling so stressed out by avoiding a certain food because you think it's a bad food, that might be worse for your health than just eating that food and moving on with your life. And again, health is multifaceted. There are so many different components that influence our health, not just the food that we eat. And I want you to know that I'm not saying that avoiding certain foods because you're on a mission to get healthier, to lose weight, whatever it is that your health goals are, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I think this is where it becomes very individualized, because it's about how you think about the food, how you think about, are you really depriving yourself, or do you feel good about making these choices? Only you can draw that line between it being toxic and obsessive and affecting your mental health versus it just being normal and feeling natural. For one person, refusing the piece of cake at a birthday party is no big deal. For another person, they've been restricting themselves all day and they really want that cake, but they're gonna say no and snack on some cucumber or carrots or eat a salad and eventually eat that cake and maybe more because they were depriving themselves and they're in this deprivation mindset. So I think there's a lot of things that influence these two ways of thinking, and one might be your hunger level that day. Like, how hungry are you when you are faced with the choice between eating something not so nutritious versus eating something more nutritious? Where are you on the hunger scale? Because if you're so starving and so hungry and you haven't eaten in so long, my bet is that you're gonna go for the cake or the very calorie dense food. I know when I'm starving, I wanna eat like everything on the menu and dessert and more. So I think the take-home message here is that you have to figure out for yourself, what is that balance, and what does that balance look like between allowing yourself to have foods that you enjoy that maybe not so nutritious in moderation for the sake of your mental health and overall health versus eating for good health. Another thing to consider is how certain nutrients can affect our mental health in a physiological way. For example, a magnesium deficiency has been shown to induce more stress and anxiety in rodents and in humans. Here are a list of other nutrients that I like to call good mood nutrients that also may have a physiological effect on our stress and anxiety. But this could be a whole nother video in itself, so let me know if you would want to see like a deep dive into this. And Editing Tika says, yes, in fact, this will be another video, so stay tuned for part 2, 3, and 4 of this series on food and mood. Or maybe you're experiencing a little bit of stress because other people are judging your food choices, or other people are judging your body, or they're giving you unsolicited advice. And here's the thing, people are always going to judge us. Whether we're doing something or whether we're not doing something, some people might have an opinion on that. But I know that when it comes to our own food choices and our bodies, it can be especially hurtful. And I think one thing that has really helped me understand and deal with this judgment that I sometimes receive from other people is knowing that when people are judging me, it has almost nothing to do with me. It's much more likely a reflection of their own insecurities within themselves. They are projecting their insecurities onto you. And there's a really great video from Julia Christina. She's a therapist. I will link it down below. We might be receiving unsolicited advice from unqualified people who are not registered dietitians, who have no training in nutrition counseling, and they might have an opinion on the food that we're eating or the way that we look. But the thing is, if you actually go to a registered dietitian or someone that's qualified to give you nutrition advice, they're not gonna sit there and judge your food choices and judge your body. Because here's the thing, I can almost guarantee you, if we take two different people and we give them 2,000 calories and they're working out the exact same amount and they're doing all of the same things, I can almost guarantee you that they are not gonna look the same. Why is that? Because genetics plays a huge role in our body shape and size. Because stress can play a huge role in our body shape and size. Because medical history and medications can play a huge role in our body shape and size. And if you want more in-depth information on that, I have a video about the weight health controversy and other factors that can influence our weight. I'm not saying that calories in, calories out doesn't matter. That's a huge and important part of weight loss or weight gain, changing your weight in any way. Instead of focusing so much on that, I'm here to explore all of the things that can actually affect calories in and calories out that I feel like we don't tend to talk about, because the message of just do it, just eat less calories or eat more calories if you want to lose or gain weight is not the message that I want to give, because I think there's just so much more to explore. But anyways, back to the video. So don't take it personally, don't take it to heart if some random person with no nutrition credentials who is not a registered dietitian tries to give you unsolicited health advice without even knowing your lifestyle, your medical history, your medications, or knowing you as a person. Think twice before accepting any nutrition information from anyone as fact. One thing I also forgot to say is that sometimes unsolicited comments from other people could be well-intended, right? They might want to be helping you, helping a friend, thinking that what you're doing in terms of like what you're eating or any weight that you've gained might be unhealthy. And I do have some opinions on that. Unfortunately, we cannot motivate other people long-term to do something that they don't have any internal motivation for. Maybe in the moment, making some of those comments might embarrass them enough to take action, or might just make them feel bad, and then they do take action. But in my opinion, these types of unsolicited comments or unsolicited advice might actually do more harm than good. Because in my experience from one-on-one nutrition counseling with clients who have experienced this type of unsolicited advice, it actually made things worse for them. They felt worse about their health. They were having a lot more negative self-talk because other people were telling them they need to lose weight, and it was just very harsh and judgmental. And then they were being harsh and judgmental to themselves. That can just cause a vicious cycle of restricting and binging, or feeling shameful because you're not trying hard enough. And it kind of perpetuates, in my opinion, this drill sergeant mentality. And I think that being healthy should not be so forced and feel so forceful. And instead, we should help people try to find the joy in the process of healthy habits. And I'm not going to go into that in this video because I do talk about it in my video about willpower and motivation. But again, this is my opinion on it as a professional, and this might be different for everyone. Maybe some people might be super motivated for the long term, lose weight, keep it off because of other people's comments and unsolicited advice. But from my experience as a dietitian, this has not been the case for a lot of people that I've counseled, because it may come at the cost of worsening their mental health. And I think it's really important instead to help people find the joy in the process of exercising, of finding movement that they really enjoy and that they love and that they look forward to, and finding nutritious foods that they really love to eat. And that's so challenging, and nobody is saying that it's easy. But anyways, check out my video on motivation and willpower for more information on that. No matter what we do, we cannot control how others perceive us. We can't control other people's reaction to us. We can't control whether or not they're gonna give us unsolicited advice, but we can control our reaction to it. I know this can be really hard, but remember, if anyone is judging you or criticizing you or your body, it's not you that they're judging. They're judging the projection of themselves onto you. Another thing that I really want to point out here that can affect people's mental health is how we talk to other people. What are the compliments that we choose to give to other people? Because we might think they're just pure and innocent, like, oh, your body looks really good. Like, what are you eating? How are you exercising? But we may not know that person's story. That person may be struggling with an eating disorder, and you might be fueling that eating disorder by complimenting their body, which is essentially complimenting their eating disorder or the result of their eating disorder. Or it may be putting so much value on our body shape and size and how it looks. Like, that's the most important thing. You can be really lean and thin, but have horrible health, horrible cholesterol, horrible blood sugar, or an actual eating disorder, and you're not getting all the nutrients that your body needs. So again, we can't determine someone's health by the way that they look. There are so many other better ways to compliment other people. Compliment people on their creativity. Compliment people on their ideas, their minds, their personality, their taste in music, their style, their resilience. Every single person has their own unique struggles that we know absolutely nothing about. So how can we judge them and their appearance or their food choices when there's so much that we don't even know about them? I'm sure there's so much more to this topic and so much more to this story that I did not cover in this video. And this is why I decided to make a 4-part series. So again, stay tuned for that. But if you did enjoy this video, you might really enjoy my playlist on mindful eating and how to get energy naturally from foods. Oh, that train. Oh wait. I created this little circle graph. What do you call it? Circle graph or diagram? Can you guys hear that? What is going on out there? Then there's this whole other side. Okay, I already said that.